Hi, I'm just going to be doing a short video that I'm going to post on YouTube and on my site, purplemartinsrus.com, on how to give food and water or some other fluid to a purple martin nestling. Now this little guy, I took him out of his nest yesterday because he was extremely, and he's still very dehydrated, and he's very thin. And I don't know if you can see, but one of the ways to tell if a bird is dehydrated, if you look at his belly and you look at the skin on his belly, it's very dry, it's very flaky. And this bone right here, that's sticking out right there, it's called a keel bone, and that's not supposed to be sticking out like that. So he's very malnourished also. So I'm going to give him a little bit of supplemental fluid and a little bit of supplemental food, and he'll be going to the rehabber later on today. And none of this information is meant to take the place of a licensed wildlife rehabilitator. That should always be the first choice if possible. I don't want to get in any legal trouble, so you should always find out where a licensed rehabber is in your area, and if you have a problem, take the babies there. They'll have the best chance of survival. So what I'm going to do first is give them some supplemental fluid. And what I have here is a Tupperware there's Gatorade in there. You can also use children's Pedialyte. Water is the last choice that you want to use. On my website, purplemartinsrus.com, I show them giving a drop of fluid right on the beak and with a syringe, and you let it hang there, and the bird will usually swallow it. And you can do that with your finger also if you don't have something like that. Just put a little drop on the tip of its beak, being careful to stay away from the nostrils. And you can see the nostrils up here on the top of the beak. And if the bird, sometimes they won't really take that drop right off the bat. So what I do sometimes is I have short fingernails, so I get the fluid on the tip of my finger, and what I do is put it over here and just let the water slide into his mouth, and you'll see him swallow it. Now all purple martins should be, when nestlings like this or jumpers, you should assume that they're dehydrated, and they should be rehydrated before you start feeding them. Now I've been rehydrating this guy since yesterday, so I'm going to go ahead and give him some crickets that I have soaking in the Gatorade. And if you start feeding a bird while it's severely dehydrated, you can actually do more harm than good. So I'm just taking the fluid, and he's swallowing on his own. You never want to force any fluids into the bird's mouth because you can drown the bird. If you look at their tongue, I don't know if you could see it, but at the base of the tongue there's an opening. That's his airway. Now the proper way to feed a baby like this is a big fat cricket. I've been giving him crickets. I gave him some this morning. So you can also have them soaked so that they're soft. These dehydrated, freeze-dried crickets are very dry, so I soak them. You can tap it on his beak and see if he'll eat them. He's not interested. He's too old. He doesn't recognize this as food. You hold him in one hand. I like holding him in the left hand. And using these two fingers, you're going to stabilize his head so that he can't move his head around. Let me get a good grip on him. He's using his little feet to push away from him. So you're going to use this finger here to keep his head from turning one way, and you're going to use the thumb to keep his beak open. Using your fingernail, on the other hand, you're just going to slip it in between his beak, separate his mouth. Be sure to not twist from side to side, just straight up and down, and you're going to use the finger and the thumb to keep his mouth open. Now you see his tongue sticking out there? We're going to put the food at the side of the tongue and in the back. Now sometimes if it's not far back enough, they won't swallow it, they'll spit it out. So see, he just swallowed that down like that, no problem. And that was a big one. So I'm going to do the same thing with this much smaller piece. and I'm going to do the same thing, use my fingernail, and I'm going to just gently pry open, very gently, straight up and down only, using my thumb and my index finger to keep the mouth open. And you see how he has his tongue stuck on the roof? He has his up on the roof of the mouth. You want to make sure that tongue goes down, otherwise you're not going to be able to get the food in there. You don't want to hurt the tongue. So see, now you can see his tongue there. In the back. See? Swallowed it right down. And that's all there is to it. That's how you feed a purple martin nestling. Now, I'll have this video posted on YouTube, and I'll also have it on my website, purplemartinsrs.com. I have a big page there with purple martin emergencies that you can look up and see different problems that you might encounter and how you can rectify it. Detailed pictures of how to give supplemental feeding and hydrate nestlings or jumpers. And if you have any questions, you can always feel free to email me. If I don't know the answer, I'll find the answer for you. Once again, always refer to a wildlife rehabilitator if you have the chance, if you have the choice, but I know a lot of people don't live in an area where they can, and if that is the case, then this kind of information is for you. Thanks so much.